The final game of round 7 for Super Rugby this week sees a rematch of the 2017 final. Same location, same teams, Lions up against Crusaders. It's probably not quite the same circumstances. Like both these teams last year, were virtually unstoppable. But going into this game in round 7, both teams have dropped 2. So Crusaders 3 wins, 2 losses. Lions 4 wins, 2 losses. So neither really in great form. The Lions' most recent 3 results were a loss to the Blues at home, a narrow win over the Sunwolves, and then a loss last week against the Jaguares over in Argentina. For the Crusaders, 2 New Zealand losses and New Zealand derbies, albeit away from home, and then a win last week at home over the Bulls. So the Crusaders yet to pick up an away win, and the Lions have not held a perfect record at home. So very different circumstances from that we might have thought. In terms of the rematch of the final, the Crusaders are playing 7 guys who didn't have anything to do with the final last year, who weren't in the 23-day match squad. Although in terms of starting players, only 2 of them weren't involved. So the other 13 guys all either played starting roles or from the bench. For the Lions, it's a bit more of a shift. So they had 9 guys who didn't play in the final, and 4 of those guys are starting. So if anything, the stable squad here goes to the Crusaders. Like I said, neither side's form's really great, and they both have to deal with some travel. So although it's going to get pretty big billing as a rematch of these 2 Titan teams, it may not be kind of the classic that we all hope it will be. As long as we don't get a red card, then I think we'll all be happy, because that kind of spoiled the final a bit last year. So for the Lions, they're coming back from Argentina. I checked the flight times. It's between a 15 and 18-hour flight. But I remember the Lions travelled late to Argentina for their game against the Jaguares last week. So it's likely they tried to stay as much on South African time as possible, so that when they returned, it wouldn't be as jarring. In terms of their squad, Daimani starts at number 8. He's a really exciting looking player. I'd heard reports that they were trying to convert him to the wing, which is strange. I know he's quick, but I think he prefers to play in the loose forward, so it's good to see him number 8. Tambwe comes in for Dianti, which is a real pity because he's been one of the revelations of the Lions squad this year. It's a pity in such an important game that he's not playing. Rowan Janssen van Rensburg is not playing. Forster's playing at 12. Still no Ross Cronje, but Ferreira is back in the second row. So it's not a full-strength Lions team, but it's decent. There's still some key men out in terms of like Warren Whiteley is still not back. Cronje is a pretty key one to lose at halfback. So at least they've got Yanchis. They've got Ferreira back in the second row, which I think will make a difference. Malcolm Marx is playing, which is very good. And still a pretty strong team. For the Crusaders, not as many changes, but Tamani Valu is back, and Hall gets a start this week over Mitch Drummond. Luke Romano can't make the match day 23. Possible that because this is a match at altitude, that they think young legs will be better than old, because I think Luke Romano is about 30, 32. So, yeah, maybe they're looking for that. In terms of the performances, I think the Lions will definitely need to pick up. They're probably in slightly worse form than the Crusaders, because a home loss against the Blues is pretty unacceptable. The way they took their foot off the gas in that game was really poor. That 2-point win over the Sunwolves, that's a pretty shocking one. And then a loss over in Argentina is not entirely unexpected because they've not got a good record in Argentina. But still, the Jaguares had not been good up until that point. So, yeah, not great reading if you're a Lions fan. For the Crusaders, 2 away losses in New Zealand. Maybe the results that they win last year, but they're another team who's not got all their key guys back. Kieran Reid's not playing. Frank's moody. A lot of guys not in your squad. And then that win over the Bulls at home was good, but not like... It wasn't what the Hurricanes just did to the Rebels kind of result. It was fine. It was a wet game when they got a result, but they didn't exactly blow the Bulls out of the park. It was a comfortable win, but that's all. So, yeah, it's a big match. It's played at Sunday afternoon time in Johannesburg, so The travel factor for the Crusaders, I think, is a bit more. Their flight is between 19 and 23 hours, depending on how they plan their flights. There's no direct flights for either of them from Argentina or from New Zealand over to South Africa. So there's going to be some tired legs. Final 10 minutes could be key, but like I said, the travel factor applies to both teams, so there's no real advantage there. It's just whether the Crusaders can get the job done at altitude and whether they can do it against a 15-man team, not like last year's final where it was much against 14. Right, in terms of the bookies, they've got the Crusaders winning by 6, so the away team is the favourite, I guess largely because of the Lions' recent form being so poor. What do you guys reckon is going to happen? Is this going to be another away win for the Crusaders, or you think the Lions will finally kind of step up because their last 3 results have not been ideal? Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll talk to you again for the next one.